Good day, everyone. My name is Agnes. Together with my teammates, Hanun, Dinda, and Dimbo, we will be presenting problems and possible solutions related to Sustainable Development Goals or SDG number 12. Here is the table of contents. First of all, we as humans rely heavily on fossil fuels such as oil, natural gas, coal as a source of energy, without realizing that those fuels have drastically increased global CO2 emission that also causes global warming. In 2021, the global CO2 emission has increased by 6%, making it the highest in the history. Other than that, fossil fuels doesn't replenish overnight. It takes more than millions of years to form fossil fuels. Thus, another alternative has to be created to fulfill those requirements. Another thing that humans have produced and accumulated over the year is waste, which causes many problems, such as health, infrastructure, also water, air, and soil pollution. SDG number 12 focuses on responsible consumption and production, the goal being promoting energy efficiency, ensuring available access to basic services, and increasing life quality can be fulfilled by biotechnology by creating new products using waste and biological processes, while ensuring chemical stability in the environment. Thus, our solution for depleting fossil fuels and accumulating waste is to create a biogas from those waste. Biogas has many purposes for electricity generation, heat source, and with an extra processing, it can be turned into biofuel, which will be explained next by my friend.
So, let's talk about the solution, biogas. First, why biogas? Our waste management system is still inadequate considering the population density we have in Jakarta as seen in the figure. This leads to multiple issues that can be resolved if we adapt waste-to-energy concept that has been endorsed by the government. Despite this endorsement, we still see little progress in the sector, which is why we should focus on biogas. Waste-to-energy concept can provide an alternative energy source for areas that still struggle with stable energy while managing the waste crisis, so we can avoid people stealing electricity from electric poles that can lead to dangerous outcomes. Our focus for this study case is underdeveloped areas in Jakarta to close the inequality gap. There are several foreseeable impacts that can be obtained from economical to environmental. Our immediate environments will observe improved cleanliness and citizens will enjoy a more stable energy. These can lead to an improved quality of life where disparities and social gaps can be lessened to increase equality. So let's know more about our source of biogas, which is municipal solid waste. The municipal solid waste can be divided into three categories: recyclables, organic, and solid recovered fuel. For this system, we will focus on the organic fraction. In Jakarta, around 8,500 tons of municipal solid waste are produced every day. Our biogas system utilizes feedstock from food waste, kitchen waste, and animal waste that can be sourced from households or traditional markets around Jakarta. So, what can we use to create a waste-to-energy plant that produces biogas from MSW? Well, the answer is biogas chamber. This is a typical biogas chamber structure. Waste are usually dumped into the most left structure and then channeled into the main tank, where the waste to methane conversion will occur, and any gas will be collected in the most right tank for channeling. The bioengineering that can be used for the conversion of municipal solid waste into biogas is anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic digestion is a process of microorganisms breaking down the waste into the production of biogas and digestate. Digestate is the byproduct of anaerobic digestion that can be used as fertilizers and to improve the soil. The anaerobic digestion formula consists of the known substrate converted into carbon dioxide and methane. There are 4 stages of anaerobic digestion. The first stage is hydrolysis, in which the complex biomolecules such as carbohydrates and lipids are broken down into sugars and long-chain fatty acids by hydrolytic bacteria. The second stage is acidogenesis, whereas the product of hydrolysis is being further broken down by the acidogenic bacteria into volatile fatty acids. Furthermore, the acidogenesis is the alteration process of volatile fatty acids into acetic acid and hydrogen by the acetogenic bacteria. Lastly, the methanogenesis is the conversion of acetic acid and hydrogen into methane and carbon dioxide by methanogens. But in biogas production, we need to consider the hydrolysis phase, which is acknowledged as a rate-limiting step due to its importance in breaking down the heterogeneous waste into conversible substance. Rafik et al. Explains the hydrolysis phase is the most decisive step for the overall performance of the biogas digester. As seen in the table, the hydrolysis reaction breaks down different compounds at differing rate constants, with protein being the fastest conversion. So what we can do is separate the hydrolysis phase to improve its hydrolytic reaction and increase biogas production.
This will be out-applied biogas chamber structure since we will be isolating the hydrolysis phase. In this regards, the hydrolysis phase can be done through a biocoordinated alkali treatment as pre-treatment of the waste to break down the lignocellulosic compounds in the organic waste. This can improve methane production as well as reduction of the production time, making it more efficient. The first part of our structure is the pre-treatment tank that is separated into two chambers, the fungi tank and the alkali tank. This combination is used to reduce economic costs and increase productivity with the least inhibitory byproduct production. A study by Chong et al. Showed that a combination of white rot fungi and alkali pre-treatment is able to produce an increased sugar level without reducing too much carbs from the feedstock. The main concern is that the fungi treatment will require 15 days, although this is considerably shorter than other systems that could take up to 20 to 60 days. Now is the anaerobic digestion tank. There are several conversions made that will ultimately produce methane. The main conditions that needs to be highlighted are pH and temperature that should remain relatively neutral at room temperature. The bacteria that is used in this tank live symbiotically, so there should not be any need to separate the colonies. Instead, the combination of both acidogenic and methanogenic bacteria should increase the productivity. However, it should be noted that the hydraulic retention time is around 21 days, where any residual waste needs to be cleaned out of the tank. Now, this is the basic calculation of the biogas production to see if the system could provide. Based on the conversion rate provided by Chakraborty et al., we will be able to produce almost 2 million cubic meters of methane from the daily production of municipal waste. This methane, if converted into kilowatt hours, can generate just a little over 220,000 kilowatt hours, which can sustain 70 households for a year. That is only from 1 day's worth of waste. This system should be enough to generate power for underdeveloped areas in Jakarta if applied and optimized correctly. On that note, this is the general composition of a biogas. We can see that most of the composition are combustible, which increased its efficiency as a product. However, this system still has its limitations. The pre-treatment tank requires a long holding time, which can mean waste accumulation. Alternatively, we can create multiple tank systems in one plant or alternate to enzymatic pre-treatment. However, enzymatic pre-treatment will increase operational costs considerably. In the anaerobic tank, we need to maintain it every 21 days, which could mean a pause in operation and trained labor requirements. An alternative for this is an automated output channel. This is the general biogas system that can be applied based on what we have described so far. From the biogas produced, the methane can be channeled into a CHP engine, which will convert and channel the biogas into either thermal or electrical energy that can circle back to our biogas tanks as well as go into our power network. It can create a circular system that can sustain itself. Furthermore, any residual that remains can be used as fertilizer or soil enhancers. This is the proposed collection system, where each household would need to sort out the municipal solid waste, and then the waste will be transported into the biogas system that has been described in the previous slide. The production of biogas system will go back to the households. This way, it creates a circular economy. Biogas is utilized in a variety of applications, such as cooking, in which biogas is mostly used in the biogas burners or stoves. Moreover, biogas is also used in the industrial heating purposes, especially in boilers for producing water vapors in the industrial processes. Other than that, in the non-electrified rural areas, biogas is utilized in the mantle lamps for lighting purposes. Biogas is used in the refrigeration as the refrigerator's external source of heat, And also in the isolated places, a biogas-powered refrigerator might be essential for the safe storage of temperature-sensitive items like pharmaceuticals and vaccines. Furthermore, biogas can be an alternative as fuel and also generating electricity in which using biogas is more efficient. A case study in Yogyakarta by Gunamanta and Sarto in 2012 conducted a life cycle assessment that utilized municipal waste such as plastic, organic waste, wood, paper, textile, rubber, and others. There were 5 scenarios of the energetic valorization options with the municipal solid waste. Scenario 0 is the landfilling system. Scenario 1 is the landfilling system with the energy recovery. Scenario 2 is the incineration and anaerobic digestion. Scenario 3 is the gasification and anaerobic digestion, while Scenario 4 is the direct incineration, and Scenario 5 is the direct gasification. Based on these scenarios, it was shown that the one of the anaerobic digestion scenario able to avoid the global warming potential due to the greater electricity production compared to the main process, which is the foreground system. Therefore, the anaerobic digestion able to tackle the global warming issue. Our last consideration are costs. This system would require high capital investment but low operational costs. The breakdown is as follows, where capital would need to build the infrastructure and operational would require costs for transport, maintenance, and buying the substrates such as fungi, alkali, and bacteria needed for the fermentation.
In the last decade, biogas production has been driven by governmental policies to foster production and increase consumption. Strategies like providing finance for various activities under the entire biogas value chain at different levels are implemented. Government, financing agencies, as well as commercial banks will be actively involved in giving financial incentives such as subsidies, grants, loans, and as well as tax exemptions to cover all aspects from feedstock production and biogas processing for various end-use applications. Regulations will encourage waste utilizations for biogas feedstock by accommodations such as research for the most effective waste type, waste pretreatment, or storage condition. Then intermediates like waste sorting and transport costs are subsidized. And refinancing like loans are also provided towards waste service. And an enforcement to separate waste from each household is implemented to simplify the sortation. Manufacturers will be encouraged by providing grants for R&D that focuses on biofuel processing and production technologies with high priority for second and third generation of biofuel. Then financial institutions will also prioritize leading for creation of any infrastructure for storage and distribution. Value-added factors like labor, capital, and land will also be subsidized. Government will also exempt taxes such as for goods distribution and property taxes. And the last incentives such as reimbursement were also issued to cover the price differential between diesel fuel and biogas. Other than financial incentives in the form of subsidies and tax exemptions, government also obliged the natural gas to be blended with biogas to increase consumption. On that note, we have finished illustrating biogas, what problems it solves, the method of production, and the necessary policies to support its production and consumption.